Okay, so thank you for jumping on tonight. Are you talking, Caroline? Are you talking? Oh, are you talking to someone in the room?
Shouting to my children to get into bed.
I saw your lips moving and I thought it was the same problem as before. Right, all good then. So I am going to share my screen because I have a lovely slideshow to accompany what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So one moment, here we go. So I'm going to be talking about, let me just get that toolbar out of the way and start the slideshow. So antioxidants and why they are so important. Hopefully I'm teaching you something that you don't know tonight because I'd like it to be beneficial to you. It's something that I have just become interested along the way. Somebody in the waiting room. Okay. Something that I've become interested in on my Arbonne journey, just looking into why the nutrition is so effective. I like to know why for lots of things. And on my journey, I have come across all sorts of things, and I thought this would be useful to share with you because I do talk about this in my health and wellness workshops as a sort of prequel to then talking about the nutrition products and the 30 days. So you might take away some bits from here. I'm happy to share anything that you see in the slideshow. It's quite brief. I might be finished well in time, so there'll be plenty of time for questions if I can answer them. And I know Caroline has something to say at the end of it. So, oh, hang on. I'm just wondering if, sorry, I've realised that I don't, oh no, I have pressed record. Okay, I suddenly had a crisis and thought, did I press record? Okay, back to here. So, antioxidants, why are they so important? We are made up of 50 trillion cells, and when we are run down, our cells are under threat from free radicals. What? You might be saying, or you might know exactly what a free radical is. Little cartoon here just to demonstrate, keeping it simple. Free radicals are unstable electrically charged atoms because of a missing electron. And they react, as you can see in this little cartoon, by pinching electrons from healthy atoms. And this causes cellular damage. So we can't escape free radicals. They are everywhere. They're even created in our bodies during metabolism. But as with everything in nature, they have their uses. And one example of that is that our immune cells use free radicals to kill bacteria. So we need the right balance, but when the balance is disrupted, that's when things start to go wrong. And this is a visual that I use in my presentations here, because in today's lifestyle, we are creating more and more free radicals. You can see here, sunlight is something we have no control over. Exercise is obviously a good thing. In the process of doing that, we do create free radicals in our body, but we've also created lots of other ones in things that we've invented over the years. So you can see from this, these are just a few examples of things that create free radicals. And here is a little cartoon just to simply show you what happens. So here we've got a free radical with its missing electron here, and it's stealing one from a poor defenseless little cell. And then that poor defenseless little cell is attacked and left damaged. Okay. So, fortunately, antioxidants are the answer. And here is a little diagram of an antioxidant with all its extra electrons around the outside. And antioxidants are our active army of defense against free radicals. You can see here, it gives the free radical that missing electron, and in doing that, it neutralizes the free radical and makes it harmless, so it can't damage our cells. So hence the importance of getting plenty of antioxidants to balance out those free radicals. And as I said before, free radicals can be beneficial. The immune cells use them to kill bacteria. Examples of free radicals affecting our bodies in a bad way are, scientists now believe that free radicals cause the furring of arteries in heart disease. Antioxidants neutralise the free radicals' ability to oxidise fat, which sticks to the artery walls. And also in cancer, free radicals damage cell DNA and cause them to mutate. But antioxidants can actually protect our cell DNA, and some antioxidants can even repair damage to DNA and prevent genetic mutation. So where can we find antioxidants? So unfortunately, I think on the recording, the people on video are going to cover up this visual, but this is a visual that I can send you a copy of. I use to hand around. And these are some examples of food sources where they are rich in antioxidants, and they help to build our army of antioxidants up to be nice and strong to help us fight off diseases and illness. So vitamin A can be found really a lot in orange and green vegetables, vitamin C in citrus fruits, broccoli, peppers, vitamin E in nuts, seeds, vegetable oils and dark leafy vegetables, beta carotene in red, orange and yellow fruits and vegetables, selenium in nuts and seeds, zinc in nuts and legumes. If you're not sure what legumes are, it's one of those words that you see a lot but you can't quite remember what they are. So beans, nuts and peas. So tree nuts, things like almonds and walnuts, things like that, are your typical nut, but peanuts are actually classed as a legume because they come in like a pod rather than in the centre of a fruit. Manganese in sweet potatoes, nuts, copper, beans, nuts and legumes again. These are sources of iron in plants. Now, interesting fact here is that red meats are very rich in iron, and I know I've heard my parents say to me, oh, you need red meat because it's really rich in iron, and it is more so than these plant sources. But in actual fact, the negative effects that digesting red meat has on your body then outweighs the benefits of it being richer in iron. So you are better off going for plant sources to get your iron because they don't have the detrimental effects on your body when they're being digested. Something else that we are now becoming more aware of is that if the essential nutrients aren't in the soil, then they're not going to be in the plants. So if you're looking for a plant-based diet to get lots of antioxidants, you need to be carefully sourcing these fruits and vegetables, some of which mentioned here. If they're being bought cheaply, then it's highly likely that they're being grown in mass and in soil that hasn't been able to recover, so therefore it hasn't got the nutrients in the soil to start with. So you're going to need to eat a lot of those vegetables to even get anything close to what you need to be getting. So that's that. So we know, most of us now, that a good intake of plant-derived minerals and vitamins will build up our immune system, increase our energy levels, and high energy levels are a great indicator of mineral health and proof that our antioxidant army is in great shape. They make us look good, so our skin, hair and fingernails thrive when we've got a good balance of antioxidants in our diet, and we concentrate for longer, so our brain and memory and motor functions give us top class performance if we have got a good balanced diet with all these minerals and vitamins, which most people who've done the 30 days report all of these things as being much improved once they get onto the 30 days and continue on it. So this I thought I would share with you, the handbag game. So I know some people do these at their parties. If you haven't come across the handbag game yet for your parties that you do or host at your own home, this is a brilliant game, and every party that I've done it at, everybody really enjoys it and says, oh, I'm going to play that when I go wherever. So pinch the idea. Now, in the traditional handbag game that's on one of the files somewhere, that's using words from Arbonne, like botanicals, can't remember what else is in there off the top of my head, but I use it for this particular presentation when I'm talking about the nutrition in 30 days, just at the end. So basically, you get everybody to have their handbag, and you tell them that you're going to pick a word from the presentation today, and the first person to pull something out of their handbag beginning with that letter wins a point, and you keep a tally on a piece of paper or wherever. So the first one being F for free radical. So obviously everyone's running around trying to find something beginning with an F in their handbag. And the person who pulls it out first gets the point. And then I say that there's an extra point in it for them if they can tell me something about free radical that I've mentioned in the presentation, or cells, antioxidant, plants, vitamins, blah, blah, blah. As you go on, you can see the words that I use. And then the person with the most points at the end gets a prize, which might be a little organza bag with various sachets. So it might be stuff from the Prepare and Endure, fizz sticks, whatever it is that you want to put into the bag as a prize, for and a reward for whoever's listened most and whoever's got the best stocked handbag, basically. Oh, I can see there's lots of, how do I get into the chat? So there ends my brief presentation on antioxidants and free radicals. I hope it's given you a bit of food for thought, inspired you maybe to look deeper, or possibly given you things that you could use in your parties when you talk about the nutrition. So, oh, Catherine, you've not heard of the handbag game? Huh. Oh, I love it. It's a firm favourite for me and everywhere I go, actually. So I hope I managed to explain things clearly. Oh gosh, there's a lot of chat. Okay, so anyway, I am done, Caroline. You want to chat in the middle of everybody's faces?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, Angie?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right, very good. So first of all, a massive thank you, Angie. That was absolutely incredible, like super, super interesting. I don't know about everybody else that's on the chat. People have been commenting to say how useful it was. But I think it's so useful just to have these little nuggets, isn't it? The like proper like knowledge and information, which is so, so useful. So thank you so much. Before we just, again, I haven't really got anything to say apart from just to rile everyone up for an amazing end of the month, really. But does anyone have any questions for Angie at this stage, just before we move on? I'm just going to see if I can see everyone. Who have we got on there? Catherine, Eleanor, Sarah. I know it's Sarah and Eleanor. There's a lot of busy people on this call at the moment, aren't they? Sarah, are you busy? Sarah's like, Marie, I can see. Jane Claire, nice to see you. Gabby's on. Well done, Gabby.
Carol's got a question.
Go, Carol.
I'd love to know. I absolutely loved that, because obviously the older generation, I find, like my mum and dad, still yesterday they got the cheese board out, and my mum's like, have cheese, it's good for you, and I'm literally sat there and then I say to my mum, why don't you have cheese? And she's like, oh, no, not for me. So why is it good for the children? Anyway, so he's had red meat, because they had steak yesterday.
Oh.
And he's want to eat any meats, that's fine. She's like, have it. So do you know, like, even more detail why, like, what happens, why you said like sunflower seeds and things like that have less iron than a steak but are better for us because of the way the body processes the steak? Do you know all of that nitty gritty stuff?
I did read it at some point somewhere, and I've forgotten, but I think it's, well, there's lots of reasons, I think, and one that sticks in my mind is just that red meat is harder for your body to process, so it does sit in the gut for longer than it should do. Yeah, I can see Sarah nodding her head. So that'll be one reason why, because it's just not good for you that you've got this raw meat and it does sit there for quite a long time, I think, which just isn't good.
I think when you think about, imagine if you had actual raw meat just sitting about on the edge of the surface or something, and then instead it's sitting for days in your gut. That's not really good for you, is it?
No.
I think I don't know if you can recommend a book, or, just for people like me, I love to be able to explain that, that side of things. When you're talking to a party of normal mums who still eat cheese and still have red meat and all that kind of stuff, like, why? I loved it. It was brilliant. but I just need to learn a bit more why.
I mean, I think one thing, Carol, obviously, is just talking about, just in the same way that we talk about soils being over-farmed and that kind of thing, and therefore foods having less nutrients. Obviously, most foods now, most meats are sort of commercially produced, so most animals will be on sort of antibiotics, and so most dairy cows are on constantly on antibiotics like the whole time in order to stop them having mastitis, and there are actual legal limits to the amount of blood and pus that's allowed to be in dairy milk, cow's milk, that's sold on the shelf, because obviously a certain proportion of the cows have mastitis all the time. They're obviously getting illnesses and things. So, and then obviously that those antibiotics and the growth hormones, because obviously a lot of cheap meats that are produced, they're produced quickly, so then the animals are given growth hormones to fatten them up quickly and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then obviously the meats are actually containing growth hormones and antibiotics, which inevitably will translate through into our bodies, and then that's sort of something that we're taking in when we're talking about all the toxins that we're taking. So obviously, for starters, if people are, that's why we always say on the 30 days that it needs to be like grass-fed beef, because otherwise a lot of beef, I mean, interestingly, I was in Waitrose the other day, and I think it was their milk, and it said, it was proudly saying that their cows were guaranteed to have been outside in a field for at least 120 days out of 365, which I was really interested about, because we had this discussion on the health coach group about what cows are fed, because one of the posts said that a lot of cows are fed GMO corn, whereas I think in the UK probably they're not mostly fed corn, they're mostly fed silage. But nevertheless, that's quite interesting that Waitrose are proudly telling us that they're outside for 120 days, whereas I think we look at a cow in the field and we think that's how cows live all the time, is outside, but actually a lot of cows and things are actually being processed inside. One thing that is quite interesting, it's worth looking up, is that the Belgian government recently reissued their food triangle, which is like their sort of guidance to the Belgian population about what foods to eat. And obviously at the bottom of the triangle, foods you should eat regularly, like fruit and vegetable, nuts and seeds, and then at the top of the triangle, ones that you should eat less frequently. And then they've now got a separate circle on the edge of the food triangle, which is non-foods, and they've got in non-foods like sweets, ice cream, all processed red meat, and there are facts about the cancer risk associated with processed red meat in particular, so things like salamis, pepperoni, bacon, things like that, sausages, and it's a massive cancer risk for people. Like 2 sausages a week on average, I think, massively increases your cancer risk just because of the processing associated with it. And again, especially if it's cheap, things like cheap sausages are produced by like high pressure hosing the bones and then like reconstituting the meat back together. So they basically take off like a slurry, a water and meat slurry off the bones, and then it's all that bit that obviously when we're eating a chicken at home, and like you'd throw away the carcass of the chicken with certain little bits of gristle and stuff like that on, but that obviously gets water blasted off the off the chicken or off the meat, like, in a way. So that's why I think we're kind of saying to people, if you are going to eat meat, you need to make sure it's really good quality, so it's not been brought up with chemicals and stuff in terms of how it's made, and then it's not been over processed in terms of the process of getting it to the table. So that's the only thing I know. Oh, nitrate free, says Claire. So anyway, we've got 6 minutes before. So,
skinless, what they called them. My mum buys the kids. Oh God, it's awful.
So it's basically like things like, which ones are they? Oh my life, really? So things like the Frankfurters, you know, the Frankfurt sausages that don't seem to bear any resemblance. Those are all, if you look on the back, it'll say, oh God, what's even the name? I'll post it later and what it's called, like where it's like reconstituted meat.
I watched a program about how they're made about a year ago, and that's it. She's not eating meat, so she's clever.
So there you go. Anyway, so we've just got a few minutes. So really, I just want to say, just before we jump off, that I know Carol and I are super excited for the end of this month. So we've got a lot of people in the team that are going for big goals. I know, like we're working like the clappers. Like I'm literally like messaging like crazy. So my husband was off today all day, and I just like sat in my office and messaged all day. It's like, everything productive in there? I was like, yes, it's all good. And so like we're going for, you know, for a big end of the month. This last 2 days is super, super exciting. It's always like a big end. I don't know why, we love a deadline, don't we? And so it just is a really good opportunity to just sort of force yourself to do that little extra bit, close on all those things, be creative about ways to solve problems for people. So like lots of people will come back to me just like they do to you and go, oh well, actually it's too expensive, or I've just had this massive vets bill, or I've just had this, that and the other, and actually just think of creative ways. So if if they genuinely can't do the purchase this month, then book in a party for next month, you know, or try to see if they genuinely can't do the ASVP, because, you know, like I had a lady who was meant to be buying the ASVP today and then literally came back this morning with a massive vets bill. Like, I totally get that, but then I was like, been trying to put together a kind of smaller order that still fits her needs and allows her to get the free sign up and stuff like that. So I think it's just a case of absolutely go for it. Like, people can still be jumping on board, be super enthusiastic, super passionate with people, just show them that you're trying to help them personally. So anyone who didn't see the calls with Fiona last night, they were absolutely brilliant. So if you're in the DM bootcamp or an AM bootcamp, they have been uploaded into those groups. I think at the moment Lisa hasn't uploaded them as a link. Oh, I've got a small boy in the background. But they're really, really good. They're just sensible ways of like make every single person you speak to feel special, make them feel like you've thought about them, come up with creative ideas. Like, this is our own business for each of us. And just like every other business does, like little offers at the end of the month, or they do specials, or they do whatever, like you can do whatever you want that kind of, you know, within reason. So if you're not sure if you're allowed to do something, just you know, check with your upline or whatever, but otherwise, like within reason, just kind of go fill your boots with fun and excitement. The end of the month is crazy, isn't it, Carol? But it's brilliant, and it creates momentum then for the next month. So just go out there, make people feel special, think of creative ways, think of ways to make it sound like it's something that's absolutely amazing that they don't want to say no to. Find ways to help them see how it's not extra spend, how it's something they'd be spending on already, you know, whatever it is, because this is an amazing opportunity to join with free registration. So even if people think they might like to do the business but they're not really sure, just sign them up and tell them they can just be a customer for a few months. Loads of people have done that before in our team, where they just are a customer for a little bit and then they do the business. So then it doesn't make it all a big fandangle, you know, just over the next couple of days. Is there anything, Carol, you want to say about month end?
No, you've covered it all. I do understand in lots of families who aren't used to month end. Mine weren't used to it at the beginning, but now they literally, the children, Richard, everyone knows, they just don't even bother me the last couple of days of the month. They know I'm on it, and it's just the way it is. So just bear with it, and just go back to your why you're doing this business, because it's not easy, but you can have an absolute blast on the way, and the results are, there's nothing else offers what we have. So just good luck to everybody, because I know you've all got your own individual goals, and please reach out to me and Caroline for whatever help you need, because we won't be sleeping for the next 24 hours. It's the way it always is.
And like, you know, if you imagine like a thing of a sprinter running, you know, 100 meters, the last few days are a bit like you're running the 100 meters and you run until you kind of feel a little bit sick, but it's good though, because you know the end is coming, and then don't sort of slow up before the end. So we run until like 5 to midnight on the end, and it's incredible the amount of momentum still that you can create, even at like 8, you know, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, you know, on the last on the end of the month. So yeah, just massive good luck to everything we've got. I'm going to have a few people going for area qual, which is super exciting. So I know Sarah, I think, and Claire's course is under 2,000 QVs to get for her amazing area team, and the girls like Gabby and Rachel and everyone are working super hard on that. So I know we've got a few others that are going for DM bonuses and things. So massive well done and good luck. Manifest it happening, and then just do the activity that's needed to get there, and you're going to have a brilliant end of the month, and then go over into May. Is always a great month, isn't it, Carol?
Oh, amazing.
Love May, so exciting. And don't forget AAC tickets and Leadership Academy tickets. Leadership Academy, I think there are literally like 5 tickets left on early bird. So if you haven't got one already, £15 for a whole day of training and building incredible relationships with other people across our nation is massively, massively valuable. So all good. Should we jump off and we'll get on to this next call tonight?
Thank you, Angie. It was amazing.
It was brilliant, Angie. Yeah, but this next call is